Let's do a stop practice. Stop whatever you are doing right now. Take a few breaths. Observe your experience in this moment. Then proceed mindfully into your next moments.
So welcome to Sacred Space LAGLAGAN Night. This is your favorite segment wherein we talk about your mistakes and our failures. In particular, we're going to be discussing about career failures. Ano bang dapat na career mo ngayon, Nex? Have you not been in emergent yet?
Well, marami yan. Simulan natin nung pagkabata.
Oh my God!
Oh my gosh.
Sige.
Ang isa sa mga pinakauna kong pinaggagawa ay maging anchor sa TV. Kasi naalala ko talaga yung times na meron ako newspaper, binabasa ko siya, tapos nakaharap ako sa tapos this is, next scene, etc. And then, syempre, yung pangarap ng mga magulang mo para sa'yo, doktor dapat.
Okay.
But no, dahil sa takot ko sa dugo, mahirap yon. So, after nun, syempre yung kurso na natapos ko, supposedly, which has to do with family life and child development, yun yung course ko. So, I was thinking dapat magiging preschool teacher or just teacher in general. Pero me being me, I cannot fit into a system. And realizing now I have to change the system and create a new system. So, lahat ng yun, #fail.
Alam mo, something similar, kasi, nagsisimula tayo sa pilinano ng magulang mo. Duman ako sa phase wherein gusto nila ng nursing. Kasi at that time, di ba lahat ng nagne-nursing, pupunta ng States. Tapos, later on, makakapagpadala ng pera sa magulang. You know, the usual, graduate, and then mag-nursing ka and whatnot. Pero dapat, I took up international relations, major in diplomacy. So, I had this career path in my mind wherein I want to be in the jet to New York representing Philippines in the United Nations.
Yes, actually, now that you mentioned that, I think isa yan sa mga naging parang at some point dream job ko rin.
Correct.
Na parang, oh my God, ang saya-saya ng lifestyle ng diplomat. Diba? You can just go anywhere. And then, of course, I've personally met some of them na parang they can choose their houses, yung saan sila titira, tapos laging maganda yung tirahan nila kung nasaan mang third world country sila
And
or
the
whatever.
perks
Yes,
or
exactly.
the bomb. Pero dumaan din sa point na, sige, baka hindi para sa akin yun. So, sabi kasi, di ba in our society, we are taught to, like, go to a good school, graduate, join the corporate world. And so, that's what I did. And so, I thought na, okay sa akin yung career na may corporate. But at the same time, I'm also doing non-profit job. So, feeling ko, yun yung nagiging, yun yung on the side ko na I can still enjoy my passion, which is volunteering, developing programs, basically in the developmental area. No? But keeping a corporate job, kasi yun yung paying eh. That's what pays the bill. Pero again, nag-fail pa din ako doon. Kasi hindi pareho tayo, hindi ako nag-fit sa system na rigid work and then may expectations, parang may sword na nakatapat sa ulo mo kapag di mo na-meet yung quotas mo, and then it will just, you're cut off.
Yeah. I remember actually clearly or distinctly dun sa mga pinasok ang mga work within a certain system na parang 2 instances yun eh. The first one, I was like in the classroom and then I was like, is this really what you want? Tumiwa sa'yo na gano'n. Is this really what? Is this it? Ganyan. And then the next one was, I was part of this play na parang 100th performance na namin to. So, yung mga kilala ko, alam na napanood, tinutukoy ko. But, during that, kind of maybe towards the tail end of that performance, I was saying, is this it? This is my life now? So, after that, nawala na ako dun sa theater scene in that way. Kasi dun ko talaga na-realize, hindi ito yun. So, I kept those failures of just trying to fit yourself in a certain mold really brought me to where I am.
Right.
Parang lagi ko kasing tinatanong, laging pumupunta yun is it what you want, is it what you want, ganun. And then I would kind of, the turning point was more of saying, maybe there's more to this. Maybe I just have to follow what I really want. Maybe it'll show up. You know? Like, what do I want? I want to work na parang freelance talaga siya, but freelance siya pero may growth ka. Okay. So, yung ganon. And then you still have your colleagues, pero may freedom. So, eventually, nakita ko siya na consultancies siya. And yung talagang literal, what you can contribute, you maximize. Because there's a feeling of satisfaction. So, ngayon, parang all of those things, all of those failures, you could say, I was able to manifest it. Kasi the work that I do now, yung Conscious Heart Creations, di ba napag-usapan natin at one point, parang puro #fail yun. So, I realized that it's really also creating a new kind of work where we can be in, parang may pareho tayong direction we want to go to, which is healing and empowerment.
Right.
But it can manifest in different forms. It can be the sacred space, it can be a humanitarian collaboration, it can be research, facilitation, doing workshops, and then it can be, I can still do yung work with mindfulness. Ito yung sinasabi ko na I can have colleagues, but it's so free that we are asked, kumusta yung schedule mo? Kung hindi ka pwede dito, then okay lang. Someone else can do it for you. And yung ganon.
Right.
Ganong klase na it's all based on agreement.
Okay. So that kind of system, you feel like you fit into, tapos you can call it a career.
Yes, exactly. Na parang, doon ko nga nare-realize ngayon na nag-create siya ng ibang klaseng career. Pero, kailangan ko siyang, kumbaga, hindi mo siya ma-define kung nag-stay ako doon sa usual definitions.
Right.
And yung usual definitions, doon ako nag-fail.
Alam mo, it reminds me of one film that I've watched. Si J-Lo yung bida nito. Then she was asked, I'm not sure if familiar ka, I forgot ano yung title. Pero she was asked, what is a career? And so she shared na parang ang sagot niya, it's siguro the job that you take on, it's a dream that you take on, and then not realizing it is your dead end. So that was her definition, and it kind of nag-stick sa akin yun as a kid na parang kung gusto kong career, dead end pala yun sa akin. There's so much more I can do. And so the job that I am in right now, I'm happy that I'm able to enjoy.
Yung skincare.
Huh?
Yung skincare na movie niya. Yung meron siyang create na, yun ba yun?
Hindi, pulis siya
Baba.
dito.
Okay.
Pulis siya.
Sige. Anyway. Okay.
Early J-Lo movie days.
Ah.
So, ito, with the job that I am in right now naman, I'm able to enjoy parang na-merge ko yung corporate and yung non-profit. Kasi being in a corporate foundation, you get to, volunteer, you get to do developmental work.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're paid to do it.
Yes,
Diba?
exactly.
Pero, I'm also treading carefully kasi once your passion is paid, sometimes meron kasing burnout doon. Na parang you're not being able to express what you really want to express, or you're not able to do the programs that you want to do. Kasi you have to fit into the certain standards that the company's giving you. But, it's all about perspectives for me at this moment. Kasi I understand this is the kind of job that I want, but at the same time, hindi siya kasi perfect. Nothing is perfect in any aspect of our life. And so, that's why we are faced with failures. And para ma-realize natin yun. But now, we are given this chance to take on a different perspective. And that's what I'm currently doing. Pero, as for our viewers and listeners, one of the biggest topics siguro, malaking parte ng buhay natin yung career. And when we fail, sometimes hindi madaling bumangon from that career failure. Parang yung iba nga, nandun na lang sila, na-stuck na lang, wala nang gagawin iba.
For me nga, I had a point in my life where I was really asking myself na parang, may career ba ako? Yung ganon. But, yun na nga eh. I mean, maybe this is really the story of my life na parang not fitting anywhere because I need to create it. And this is what I'm discovering rin na parang, and now I getting invited because of exactly what I know and what I've experienced.
That's a very good point yun, yung discovering part. Kasi sometimes, akala mo end game na yung failure mo kasi tapos na eh. Pero, yun pala, dun mo madidiscover kung anong tama mong calling. Parang kung ano ba yung para sa'yo talaga.
Yes.
So, we're not saying in confidence na if you're looking for a sign, this is it.
But who knows?
Who knows? Correct. Diba? If you failed in this career, don't you worry, I guess. We've all been there. Hindi kayo nag-iisa.
Yes. and to just, kung nag-fail na kayo again, ask yourself what was that about? And hopefully, you stay with asking that question instead of just giving up. And kahit na painful yung experience and all that, it will have meant something.
Right. And so, kaya nga dito sa Laglagan Nights, lagi nating sinasabi, we're celebrating not the failure, but yung triumph mo over that failure. And later on, we'll shine more light on the different tips, different experiences that our guest has encountered, and how she was able to cope up, and how she can help you guys to also cope up with your failures, process everything, so that you achieve yung end goal ninyo. But we're not saying naman na we've really achieved our end goal. Ako, for me, marami pang pwedeng mangyari.
Yeah, and we're actually firm believers of evolving and evolution and transformation. So, given that your end goal may be your end goal that you reach, and then you have a new end goal. So, we'll just see how that goes. But anyhow, we'll have a break first so that we can meet our guest who'll share more about her career failures and her perspective as someone in the field of organizational and leadership development.
Right. See you after the break.
To get updated in our latest episodes, you may follow The Sacred Space by Conscious Heart Creations in Spotify, Google Podcast, and other podcast channels.
Follow Conscious Heart Creations in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We also invite you to be part of our Healing and Empowerment Community Facebook group and send us an email if you want to join our Emergent Theater PH activities.
You can find all the links to our social media accounts and email address on the description box.
Welcome back to Laglagan Nights with our special guest, Hilda Hoxon.
You're one of our special guests for this episode. And this particular episode is going to be talking about career failures. But first and foremost, we would also like to introduce you to our audiences. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, the background, and all the formalities.
With a courtesy, yes. Sige. So, hello everyone. My name is Hilda Hoxon. Currently, my work requires me to deal with a lot of leaders, budding and established leaders, from small teams all the way to big organizations. So I head the learning and development team of our European-based or Swedish company that has a 10,000 employees strong and global footprint across different European countries, North America, and Asia. So I head the global English region, which consists of Asia Pacific, North America, and a couple of other countries in Europe, Tallinn, Germany, and some other hard to pronounce countries. Yes. So I deal with leaders, develop them. So from the ground up, helping them mold their skills. So these are leaders who have found their calling. Some are still trying to find it. Some of them napadpad lang doon kasi ihip ng hangin, ganyan. So from different walks of life also. And I've been doing this since the early or mid 2000s for quite some time now. And I'd say it's something that I'm very, very passionate about.
Perfect guest for today's topic kasi we were just talking about kanina, how people sort of planned out their careers since they were young, and then when they reached an age, parang hindi yun yung napupuntahan nilang particular na career. So in some other experiences na parang, okay, I know that when I was young, I wanted to be a diplomat. And that's my...
Ay, talaga?
Yeah.
Bakit? Anong gusto mo doon yung
travel.
Sabi niya eh. Di ko lang masabi, baka sabihin judgment. Travel ba? Yung travel. Yes.
Actually, I got to learn naman about the course in the 4 years that I've studied. And I know that, sige, I want to take the Foreign Service Officer exam maybe later. But yung calling slowly is na-unfold siya. Tapos hindi siya doon hindi siya for that. It's more on the non-profit sector of the society. Pero, yeah, and that's one of the things na hindi napupuntahan, hindi agad yun yung nangyayari. Kahit, your plans are not unfolding the way you want it to unfold. So, particularly in the career.
Yes. So, on that note, what would you say to this topic? Ano bang, why do we need to actually talk about career failures and in fact, celebrate career failures?
Yes, that's a very good point. It's not just something that exists, it's something that you can actually celebrate, even if it's considered as a failure. Siguro, parang let's align what we see as career failure. Kasi what may be a failure to one person may not necessarily be a failure to another. Diba? So define tayo ng career. So career, most often than not, is typically defined as it's an occupation with remuneration. Therefore, trabaho na may compensation, may benefits, with opportunities for growth. So whether it's to get promoted or to learn new skills, to travel, yung iba, ganyan, diba? Or yung mga perks ng trabaho nila. But career is this. Vocation is the one that's bigger. So yun na yung sa non-profit, yun na yung that's the bigger picture of it. It's what you're being called to do. It's the ecosystem by which you flourish the most and nourish others also the most. So kung yun yung career, it's a job, it's an occupation with remuneration. Ano nga yung ibig sabihin ng failure? Para malaman natin what career failure really is or how people see it. Failure, on the other hand, is defined as if you're not able to achieve your objective. Siguro, maybe, baka better ba na i-define mo natin kung ano yung success? Kasi minsan mas may diba? So, pag success siya, na-accomplish mo yung objective mo. So, what are you there for? What are you in for it? Ako, gusto ko yun yung mga, ang gusto kong career ay gusto kong mag-showbiz or gusto kong because they want something out of it. Whether regardless of their motivation, we are not to judge. To each his own. May kanya-kanya tayong gusto for different reasons also. Are you there for the money? Are you there for the prestige? Is it tradition? Kasi may ganyan eh. Ito yung kailangan kong karera kasi ito yung buong pamilya namin, yung lahi namin. I'm the 4th generation ganitong career. So this is my path. It's been laid out for me even before I was born. Diba? Is it your values and beliefs? So ano ko siya paniniwala ko siya, gusto ko siyang ipaglaban. Kailangan ko siyang, I have to put myself out there kasi this is what I believe in. Fine career. Therefore, failure is when you're not able to get out of or achieve what you were there for to begin with. So if your reason for being there is because of money, you can consider it a career failure if you feel I'm not earning enough. Therefore, kaya merong iba nagsiswitch. I'm going to switch careers because I'm not earning enough. Because that's my objective. It's to earn. For some, even if it's a high-paying job, even if they get all the perks that others could only dream of, nagsiswitch sila ng career kasi hindi sila feeling fulfilled. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like it's what I'm being called out to do. I don't think it's my purpose. Kasi yun yung motivation nila. That's what they want to achieve. That's what they want to get out of what they're doing on a daily basis. So it's important for us to know two things. Therefore, mahalaga na malaman natin what we're being called out to do. ano ba yung drive ng kaluluwa mo? Ano ba yung drive ng pagkatao mo? Saan ka ba hatak papunta? Right? What are you being drawn to? Where are you being drawn to? That's why there are some people who just quit their job and travel the world, or quit their corporate job and do something else that does not necessarily require profit or does not necessarily give them profit, diba? Pero they feel more fulfilled than ever. So it's important for us to know what it is that we're being called out to do. Ano ba yung tawag ng damdamin? Oh, baka kumanta ka. Ano ba yung tawag ng damdamin mo? Tapos pangalawa, bakit mo ba siya gusto? What is it? What's your motivation? Gusto mo siya? Ano yung scorecard of joy? Paano mo malalaman kung alam mo na masaya ka dito? Kailangan klaro din sa'yo kung ano yung gusto mong ma-achieve. I'd say that's most critical. You have to know what it is that you're being drawn to. You have to know kung ano yung magpapaligaya sa'yo. Tapos kailangan alam mo kung anong itsura you have to know what it looks like. Ano ba itsura ng ligaya? ano bang itsura ng joy? Ano bang itsura ng success para sa'yo? And then, ako kasi in my journey, dun ko nakita na ang objective ko pala is to use myself as an instrument. Self as instrument siya. Regardless of kung saan ako, sino yung makausap ko, anong organization, anong team. But it's always self as instrument. And I always like to be at this concept na parang I call edge of chaos. So gusto ko yung maraming disruptive energy, because I see disruptive energy as empowering. It's very, very empowering. It allows, I allow others, not myself, but yung facilitation, my mere presence because self as instrument siya, to recycle that disruptive energy to draw inwards. So I'm part of that process na very poetic siya, but it's very beautiful, and it's something I celebrate, where people can both lose and discover themselves at the same time, kasi it's what happened to me. So it's and kaya siya self din as instrument, kasi parang siguro lahat ng failures, whether it's in career or it's in my personal life or in wherever else, it's because I was met at some point in time, and I'd like to say it's today or maybe tomorrow or the day after even, diba, to facilitate that. So it's important that we talk about it, na career failure, kasi a lot of people, when they feel that they failed, ang hirap, parang hindi lang siya basta-basta pause. Period siya, minsan hump, minsan lubak, tapos hindi na, alam mo sinasabi nila, daanan mo, huwag mong tambayan, di ba? Yung iba, tambay na, parang, tagal na, nakatambay na sila doon. When it's something that should be celebrated, because if you allow yourself, you will discover what you're being called out to do talaga. Ano ba talaga yon? Or may discover mo things about yourself na, okay, bakit ba siya failure? Baka kasi mali yung sukatan ko ng pagkatao ko, mali yung sukatan ko ng joy. Baka kaya siya failure kasi I'm looking at the wrong things, diba? Yung hindi pala dapat yun yung drive. And again, what may be a failure to one person may not necessarily be a failure to others. So it's something that I feel kailangan, hindi lang siya basta-basta kailangan pag-usapan. Kailangan siyang, lalo na ngayon, kasi syempre in this day and age, ang bilis na mag-career switch, diba, ng mga tao. Ang dami na ring micro and hyper careers. Yun yung dati kunwari isang career siya, let's say finance, tapos ngayon ang dami ng micro parts of finance. So, daming pagpipilian. Mas nakakaloka yung options mo, di ba? So, at dahil mas maraming pagpipilian, mas maraming chances of calling it a career failure, so to speak, di ba? So, it's and because I'm also an advocate of mental health and overall health ng tao, it's important that we understand what it is and what it does, and how we can weaponize it, so to speak, or how we can turn it into something that's empowering rather than considering it as something as downward or negative. Yon.
So I guess what can you give out to people, like an advice siguro for those, for sure, kasi I've met a lot of people na during this year they have parang rethink nila yung careers nila, what they really wanted to do, and a lot of that, ang daming realizations na, hey, I
ayoko pala sa corporate job, gusto ko to. Kaso lang, I'm afraid of how my family or my friends will perceive of my decision. Kasi baka it will make me look like a failure. So, kunyari, I'm coming from a family of lawyers. So, I went to law school. Nakapasa ng bar, I became a lawyer. Pero my calling is really in pastry making, for example. What advice can you give to those kinds of people na medyo torn sa decision ng what the society wants me to do versus what I really want to do?
It's success is not measured by what people think, what society asks you to conform to, what your job title is, how much you earn, or the name of the company that you work for, that you work in. It's measured by no one else but yourself. Ikaw ang makakapagsabi kung nakakatulog ka sa gabi na matino, ng maayos, that you look forward to all days. That even if there are days when things get really, really tough and difficult, you even become grateful for those because it's really what you like to do. So even if there are challenges, you're still energized to deal with those challenges. That's one. And when you reach that point where you realize, oops, hindi pala ito yung para sa akin. And consider able. It doesn't mean the end. It's just a pause for you to start a new season, as how I always call it. Or maybe to introduce a new character in your life. Meron palang mentor na padating, di ba? Or a break before the plot twist. Minsan kasi, di ba, gusto natin bugbog sa umpisa para panalo sa dulo. Yun, naka-plot twist pala siya. Di ba? Isa siyang FPJ movie. So, bugbog muna, tapos biglang boom, panalo, party. And lastly is, the universe is self-organizing. Just as we humans are. You have to trust the process. Mahirap, lalo na pag hindi mo alam. Gusto mo kasi malaman mo eh. Gusto ko definitive. So you have to trust the process. Even if it's unsure, lahat may dahilan eh. Everything has a reason for being. And again, self-organizing siya. It's hard to do that after being rejected.
Sobrang nagre-resonate ako dun sa lahat ng sinishare mo, Hilda. Alam mo naman ang ating lessons in life. Ang daming takeaways. Hindi ko na siguro maisa-isa, but I really like yung mga summaries mo, yung mga key tips and perspectives that you were actually sharing with people into how do we actually look at failure and what may be, at the end of that dark tunnel, lalo na yung mga nandun pa lang, kakapasok pa lang ng dark tunnel.
Umpisa pa lang nung ride.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're very glad to have you in this episode, and thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us and to our listeners and viewers.
So, thanks, Hilda, and we'll see you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you also.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.